Some of you may know that I'm a sucker for dark and moody games. So when I saw this game, Soviet Survival, I knew I just had to take a look. I've played for a couple hours now, but I want to start over with a fresh game so you can see what it's like. Now, real quick, this game is in early access, and at the time of recording it's up to version 0.10. So basically there's a long way to go. There's actually a number of issues and bugs that we're going to experience, but just keep in mind it's still very early in development. Anyway, let's get started. Let's start a new game. So here's the very start of the game. As you can see, it's an isometric survival game, which isn't too bad. There's a few other survival games that use this view, and it works for the most part. In this game, it's a little bit awkward, and I'll get into those reasons right now, actually. So the first thing that you can notice here is that there's this cutout, which shows the character inside of a building. It's not too bad, as you can see it's implemented here. But the problem is it's attached to the character and rather than the camera. So if you zoom out, it doesn't change how much you can see inside, which is useless to us. If there was like a zombie or some kind of enemy off in the corner here, you'd never see it. Unless you were close enough, in which case it's probably too late. Let's say it's an enemy player and they have a gun and you only have your little hatchet and you can't see them off in the corner. That's kind of a problem. I think that this cutout should be attached to camera view rather than character. One of the other issues I have with this game is that your movement and your facing should be separated. I feel like it should be attached to the mouse movement. That way, we can move around as much as we want, but face in whatever direction we want as well. So, hitting W will get us moving in this direction, but having your mouse pointing downwards, for example, will allow us to backtrack. Right now, backtracking is impossible. One of my other biggest issues is that rotation is handled with middle mouse button, and it is frequently awkward. I wish that they would change this part because it is very frustrating to deal with, especially in combat. And having to deal with middle mouse while trying to navigate a fight is kind of a mess. So I would hope that they change rotation to something else. I'd rather it be like Q and E, for example, so that it turns left and right. Other than that though, if you can get used to it, it's actually okay. It's just some things are very rough. But then again, this game is in very early access, so there's time for this stuff to change. Okay, so in front of us here we've got some items to loot. Let's grab them. So we've got a bandage, some water, and some bread. Let's move these in the corner here. Also, you'll notice that if you pick up an item from a specific square, let's say we pick it up from this top left corner, we also have to make sure that the destination is going to be in the top left corner. So it has to be in this square, otherwise it will glitch out and fail. So if we try and put it, say, here in this square, it just goes back because it doesn't know. Hopefully they smooth this out so it's easier to pick up stuff and rearrange your inventory. Currently all the containers refresh, so we'll come back to these containers later to pick up more stuff. Also in the bottom left corner you'll see our main meters here. We've got hunger, thirst, health, and stamina. I've got to make sure that all four of these are pretty well maintained throughout our gameplay. What's in here? Antiseptic solution, paper, more water, that's good, vodka, and another bandage. Very good. I wish the water would stack. Same with the food. Ooh, a pear. Currently, there's no way to take all. We have to get things one by one by one, and it's a little bit frustrating, but that's okay. We can deal with it. These are craftable. Ooh, gun parts. We need that. Here's our first enemy. It's a basic zombie. Fighting it is kind of easy, I suppose. All we have is this little tiny hatchet, but we can still take care of it in a few swings. Let's grab it. Boink. Did it hit us? It hit us while I was laying down. That's kind of not cool. Okay, let's see what he's got. He's got cloth scraps, which we definitely need to collect more of. Up in the top left here, we'll see our current goal. It says, you know, find resources for crafting a workbench in the building menu, which is B. And we can see that the building menu is pretty robust. You know, it's got building parts, building tiles, I should say. Here's a bed, cooktop, and the workbench, which requires 7 wooden planks and 2 metal scrap. Wooden planks are pretty easy to get. We just go up to the tree. As long as we are wielding a hatchet or an axe of some kind, we can harvest this for wood. The harvesting mechanic, as you can see, is just hold down a button and wait for the action to complete before you get one or two items. See down here at the middle, we've gotten some planks. We've actually gotten planks and twigs. The one thing that this game doesn't quite do is a toolbar. You know, usually we'll have like a hotkey bar here with, you know, an axe, a pickaxe, you know, maybe a hammer or something like that, but this doesn't have that. If we want to switch out different tools, we have to literally drag them out or put them back into our melee slot. There's not really any other way. Here's a couple of shops. We don't really have any money, so we can't buy anything. But this guy sells food, as you can see. And this guy over here, he sells building materials. Or just crafting materials in general. I would like to sell these twigs, but we can't. Oh, what we can do, however, is we can craft some batons. See, this takes 1 twig. As you can see, we hold F to craft. As long as we have the item selected, we can craft that item. Let's make 4 of these. I suppose we could use a baton for melee so that we spare our hatchet, but that doesn't matter. We're going to be making an axe sooner or later. What we want to do here is just sell this. Make a little bit of cash. There we go, 12 bucks. Now, in order for us to make our workbench, we're going to need some metal scraps, which we can't just find anywhere. So here's the map. We started here in this little corner. We came out to the shop over here. And over here is the factory, which is where we can find metal scraps. Alright, here's the factory. As you can see up here in the top right corner, there's this little mini-map. The little red circles are where enemies are. So there's a zombie right there. There's another one over in this direction. Let's take care of him before we loot. Oh, 1 money. I wish they would rename that from money to rubles or something like that. This is Soviet survival after all. So, as you probably saw there, it was easy for us to overswing past our target, and that's the problem that I was saying about facing. Our character should be facing wherever our mouse is. So even if we do overshoot our targets, we're still facing our target. As it is, we basically exposed our back to our enemy, and if they weren't getting up, we would have gotten hit. If we want metal scrap, it's these like sheets of metal, basically. We harvest it just like we harvest trees and rocks. Did that? It didn't get us any. That should have gotten us some metal, but it didn't. Let's try this again. There we go. We got finally 1 metal scrap item. Okay, let's grab this toolbox. As you can see, our hatchet here has got durability damage. Using this toolbox will repair this. It will use up 1 charge no matter how damaged our item is. So it's always best to use it when the durability is super low. Otherwise we'll be wasting it. Okay, these darker zombies have a little bit more hit points. We have to be careful. There's no auto grab. You have to take 1 item at a time between containers into ours. It's a little bit frustrating, and I hope that they change that soon. We've got 2 scrap now, and that's enough to make our bench. But let's go ahead and farm up the rest of this factory. Ooh, medical parts. More gun parts, that's also really, really good. It's getting super dark. We do have this flashlight here, but it doesn't really help the darkness all too much. Still, we can't let this stop us because we have got some stuff to do. That didn't drop us any metal either. It's really stingy, game. That shouldn't be a chance. That should be every time you hit one, you should get one. Sorry if it's super dark and you can't really tell what's going on. I can try to brighten it up a bit. We'll see. Let's look in the settings in a second. There's not really a way to brighten things up here. I'll try and brighten things up in post-production. In my opinion, the day and night cycles in this game are a little bit too fast. I'd like a way to change that. At least I'd like to slow it down, or at least be able to, set how long each cycle is. So I want to pick a nice little spot for our base. I think this is good. It gives us a good area to build in. First thing we're going to need is a bunch of wood. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the trees here, they regenerate. Everything kind of comes back after a little while. So let's farm up some, and I'll get back to you once we have enough stuff. So here on the left side, you'll see the corn. It was actually a pear, but that's okay. You can see it kind of ticking down. And at the same time, we are getting a little bit of hunger from this. We'll wait until this is all the way down before we eat this canned meat. Okay, I think we're ready. Let's grab this meat. Let's eat it. This takes up a good chunk of space in the inventory. Actually, we should probably have gone for the bread first, but that's alright. We can eat that next if we need to. We're about half thirst, so let's drink some water. Let's drink this guy. Okay, the light's starting to finally come back. So let's turn that off. You notice these little patches here? This is where we've been cutting down trees. And it's important to know where they are because you can't build over them. At least not currently in this build. Here, for example, let's grab this. Let's select a foundation. Let's make the foundation. And you can see we can put it wherever, except over top of these little patches where we cut trees down. Eventually this is going to grow back, so we don't want to build on top of it anyways. Anyway, let's put this guy down. Can we deliver water? Yes, kind of. There's like this weird patch where we can't build, but we can build over there. That's kind of strange. That's alright, we don't need to go that far. Let's build here. Make another. Building is relatively intuitive, as you can see. It's easy to snap pieces to each other. The only problem here is that you can't remove this. Once you've placed it, it's there. There's no destruct mode, there's no dismantle, there's none of that. Once it's there, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. You can always build elsewhere, but for the most part, make sure you're going to be putting things exactly where you want them to be, because right now, in this version of the game, there's no moving anything. Okay, let's make ourselves a workbench. Let's place it here in the center. Well, against this wall. Okay, in here we're going to want to make a fire axe. This is much better than our current hatchet, so it's a must-have. Let's make this guy. It takes 3 metal scrap. We are doing much better now we've got this axe. A real axe, not a hatchet. We do need to offload some of this stuff. So let's make a little container. Oop, we need wood. We're gonna need so much wood. Okay, let's make ourselves a little storage and put it over here. Let's put all of our crafting stuff in here. And the problem with this being completely manual is that it takes a lot of time just to keep everything organized. Now we can make paper bandages out of this antiseptic solution and these paper rolls, But it's best to actually use cloth, because then you end up with cloth bandages. That's actually, we can craft more here at the bench. Let me show you. See here, cloth bandage. It takes 3 cloth and 1 of these antiseptic solutions, versus the paper bandage, which only needs 1 and 1. But it doesn't heal as much. See, this only restores 10% health, while the bandage restores 15%. It seems like a steep amount, especially since cloth is, we only have 5 of them, for example, so it feels steep. But you're going to have a lot of cloth because you're going to be killing a lot of zombies. So I wouldn't worry so much about cloth. I think what we should do is probably get more metal scrap. We're going to need a lot of it. We also have these twigs, which I don't know what to do with. Except store them for now. It feels like a big waste of space. We're not going to do anything with those twigs. Okay, we're back at the factory because I want to get some more metal scraps. Let's take care of these zombies. Oh man, I love this axe. 2 hits down. Ooh, look at all this food. More bread, gun parts, shotgun shells, and pistol ammo. We definitely want those. We may as well eat this bread too, so it's not using up so much space. So you see that area where it's red? That's actually radiation contamination. And if we step in there, we're going to take damage. We definitely don't want to do that. I'm assuming that there's going to be suits that allow us to go in there at some point, but for now, stay away. Okay, we're getting quite a lot of these gas mask filters. We should probably sell some of them. Let's drink this vodka. We're getting kind of thirsty. Another toolbox, which we should probably sell. Well, I don't know. I feel like we should probably save. I don't know how rare they are, really. As in, my last game, I didn't have this many toolboxes. I only had 1. And I had to be very judicious about how much I used. I almost forgot. There's a skills section here that we haven't looked at yet. So here, there's a few categories. Strength, agility, and stamina. Let's increase strength. Let's actually increase all of them at least once. As you can see, increasing them has unlocked the next tier, which we could take. More health, more damage. It's always a tough choice. Alright, let's sell some stuff. Let's get rid of one of these gas mask filters. We don't need them. What? How much money did we get? They're worth 650? Jeez. Toolboxes are 125. Let's get rid of one of them. Do we need anything? Iron ingots? More metal scrap? We may as well buy all this, right? We got 800. Coal. Let's get the coal. We could get the ingots too. May as well, right? So as you can see here, all the trees have grown back, even though we had just spent the night chopping them all down. So we're gonna have to chop them back down again. Everything is in a very early alpha state, like I said earlier. And because of that, things are refreshing very quickly. So it's easier to test what needs to be tested. So I don't believe this is the final intent of the game. It's just the way it is right now. As far as I'm aware, it's only one developer who's doing all this. And they're actually putting out a pretty good amount of updates pretty often. Okay, we just chopped these trees down, and they're already back. We'll get them in a second. Let's start building. Okay, let's put this door frame down, and the door... There we go. Now we are somewhat secure. Okay, so if you want to make a cooking pot, which I definitely want to make a cooking pot, we're going to need to make a pan first. The pan can be made over here on the workbench. I believe it only takes scrap. Oh, scrap and wooden planks, which we got plenty of. Let's make that. Alright, let's go and hit a rock. There should be one close to where we started, so that will be easy. Mining the rock's pretty much the same as hitting a tree. We just hold and click and just let it do its thing. Down at the bottom you can see we're getting stone and iron, both of which we need. Let's go and find another rock because we're going to need more. There should be one down the road here. Yep, here it is. Let's grab it. More stone. Oh, we got to make sure that we have room. If there's no room in your inventory, then it just drops it and it's lost forever. Alright, and we are back. So I had done a bunch of recording, and unfortunately the recording itself kind of bugged out. I didn't have the right save, so I ended up losing a bunch of stuff. Anyway, what I had done in that footage was to make the cooking pot over here, where we can make more water, or coal. And over here is the furnace, where we can make iron ingots. We have to hold down to craft, which is kind of strange. I feel like smelting in other games would be an automatic thing, or at least, you know, you set how many you want and it goes on by itself. You don't have to manually do it. I'm hoping that this system changes so that it becomes more automatic. And then there's this here, where we can make antiseptic solution out of fiber. Although we don't really need it. I'd rather save my fiber to make cloth scraps. We also have a ton of gun parts, which we also made our pistol and a bunch of ammo. So basically to make ammunition, we have to make empty casings here. It uses metal scrap. We already have 10, so we don't need to do too much. And then it also requires a gunpowder, which is made out of coal and more metal scraps. Which we also have 1, so we don't need that. And then to make 10 pistol ammo, it'll require 10 empty casings and 1 gunpowder. Let's make that now. There we go. We now have 36 pistol ammo, not including the 10 that's in the pistol itself right now. It does bug me a little bit how these piles, their maximums are arbitrary. You know what I mean? Like, this is 16? Why is it 16? Why isn't it 20? Why is this 7? It's just a strange decision to me. I just don't know what the reasons are. Okay, so here's the map. Our base is right here. We started off in this little house here. We've been doing metal scrap farming in this factory. And there's this mining industrial zone over here, a military barracks here, and a village down over here. Which we could go take a look at the village. It might be pretty good. Fuel station, garages, and a sawmill. That probably has a ton of wood. We could also go look at the military barracks. That could be a lot of fun. Let's go up to the barracks. So here you'll notice that we got the pistol out and we're aiming down sights and we can move. And where we're pointing the mouse is where our character is facing. And this is what the default behavior should be all the time. You can sort of do this with melee weapons, like where you're pointing is where you face, but you can't move. Anyway, let's check out this pistol. Let's see if it's any good. Wow, 2 shots. Actually, it's about the same as 2 axe swings. 5 from him. Let's do a reload. And I like that they don't get attracted by loud noises. I wonder if there's anything good to loot here. I mean, it is called a military base after all. You'd think there would be AKs or something. Although even if there were AKs, we can't load it. We can't make the ammunition for it. I heard someone in there. Not gonna lie, this view makes... Oop, you hear that? But yeah, I was just saying, this view, this very limited cutout, makes things feel very claustrophobic. Which is good in a scary game. Ooh, finally found a container with food that we don't need. We have too much of that. Ooh, crates of stuff. Clean water. Okay, I'll take it. Meds. More forged nails. Wow, one hit, dead. Suck it. He had 1 money. Man, I don't want twigs. Why is the military keeping twigs? Does this place have a basement? Oh, it does. So, this is Soviet Survival. It's being made by a single developer, and they're doing pretty well. There are a few issues here and there, but on the whole, it's pretty good. I suggest if you're into this sort of thing, you should join their Discord and give them feedback on their game. It's currently $5, and sometimes it goes on sale, so you should definitely take advantage of that. I've left the link to their Steam store page down in the description, and if you've already played this game, let us know what you think in the comments. In any case, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.